All right, Rakem Seku. Today we're going to be talking about an amazing tool that your wife invented many years ago and which I am certified in. And it's called the three-way mirror. And it's an amazing tool because it helps people to process their triggers. And most people do not know how to process their triggers. And so they stay stuck repeating the same negative experiences over and over and over again. So on this episode, we're going to utilize the three-way mirror to process a trigger that I recently experienced with you. And I'm going to get your feedback on the analysis that I've done so far. So thank you for being here. Do you want to add anything to what I just shared?
No, I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on.
Okay. All right. So let me just give some context and then we'll go through each of my triggers. And so the context is, from my perspective, is that very recently you came to visit me here in Toronto. I was very excited to see you for the first time in 7 years. And I assumed that you were coming to just see me and only me. I made that assumption. And it turned out that that was not the case, that you were actually here to see another woman as well. And I didn't know anything about that until after you left. 2 weeks later, she called me and informed me that you were intimate with her immediately prior to seeing me. And that set off a whole bunch of triggers in me. And so that's what we're going to be discussing. So, do you want to add anything to the context before we get into each trigger?
Yeah, the other aspect of it was I was also coming to Toronto to do an event, and the other sister was going to help me with the event, but that never happened because weren't able to organize it in time.
Okay, cool. So, the three-way mirror has three panes. There's the patterns, there's the proclivity, there's the potential. So we're gonna start with the triggers, and then we'll see if any of these triggers are showing up in any of the three panes. So the first trigger that I experienced was that I felt blindsided when I found out this information from her rather than hearing it from you. And so when I look at the three-way mirror, when I look at the first mirror, this is definitely a pattern. I've had this experience before with previous partners of mine. I've also had this experience before with you many, many times where I learned information that was revealed to me through a third party. And when one of the earliest memories of this happening was with my ex-husband. I was hanging out with him and a friend of ours, a mutual friend of ours, and that mutual friend blurted out, "Hey, when's your baby gonna drop?" And I didn't know anything about this pregnancy, and it turned out that he had another woman 8 months pregnant, and he never told me. And I completely flipped out on him for not telling me. So I do have a pattern historically of feeling incredibly blindsided by the men that I've been dating. So that's my first observation. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I don't have any observation
Okay.
around that.
All right. So I have a subconscious recurring pattern with that. Um, then the proclivity mirror. So when I looked at that proclivity mirror, the proclivity mirror is where you're basically doing the same thing. So if I'm saying Rakem Sekou is not transparent with me, then
Mhm.
I have to look at, okay, am I transparent with everybody in my life? And the answer is no, I'm not transparent with my sons. I keep certain things from them, especially things pertaining to money and finances. There's a lot of stuff that I keep from them, and they get blindsided by me because eventually the truth comes out, and then they're super angry at me because I didn't tell them what was really going on. So I have that same proclivity of not being transparent. And a third mirror, the potential mirror, I think this one is where perhaps I could become better at being firm with my own boundaries, because you're very firm with me in terms of your boundaries. Like when I brought this to your attention, you were very clear that, you know what, I don't have to answer any of your questions. I don't have to tell you shit. Um, what else did you say? It's none of your business. Um, Basically, if you don't like it, take it or leave it. So that's very firm boundary. That's very firm. And so for me, I think a potential mirror is that I'm being shown how to be more firm in my boundaries as to what I will and will not share with certain people. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I could see that being a potential reflection for you. The boundary thing. Um, yeah, living your truth and that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. And that came up for me too. I was tested on that too because um, the woman in question, she had offered to be friends with me. And, I explained to her that, whenever I've tried to be friends with your partners, it hasn't worked out in the past. In fact, it's ended disastrously. And also, when I've been friends with husbands and boyfriends of partners of yours, that also ended disastrously. And so I tried to like challenge myself to be her friend and do the whole kitchen table polyamory thing. But like eventually I just had to be real with her and with her other boyfriend and let both of them know, like, look, like I'm not your friend. Okay, he's like straight up. Like, I know the kitchen table polyamory thing sounds really nice and everything, but the truth of the matter is I'm not your friend. And, I'm not going to do this because I know myself. I know that it's only a matter of time before I backstab you or cut your throat. So I'm not going to do this. So I had to set that firm boundary and I cut them both off. So your thoughts?
My thoughts on you cutting them both off.
In terms of setting a boundary.
Yeah, I mean, it's just preference. I've seen that with you before. You've gone back and forth with this thing before, just for over a decade. So yeah, I mean, I that's fine. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Okay.
I don't know what to say. Whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I think as I was telling you a few days ago, like with the dark feminine, like she's cutthroat. And so I can't be friends with somebody just because they're having sex with you. Like that's not a strong enough foundation for me to be friends with that person. Like I could have been friends with this woman from years ago. I've known about her since 2018,
Hmm.
before she had any connection with you, and I had no desire to be her friend. So for me to pretend to be her friend just because she's sleeping with you, like it's not going to end well.
Got you. Understand.
Right? Whereas in the past, I wouldn't have said that. I would have like, okay, let's do the fake friendship thing. But now I'm not going down that road.
Okay.
Okay, so trigger number two. Uh, okay, so I came to learn that you came inside her twice, and you didn't come inside me at all, and that was a trigger for me. That brought up some comparisonitis. And I was just like, oh my God, my little girl came out like, oh no, she fucked him better than me. He loves her pussy more than mine, blah, blah, blah. So that was a trigger. The only mirror that showed me was just the comparisonitis thing.
Okay.
I think that might be a pattern of comparisonitis. Um, and also, I don't know if this is a mirror, but one thing that came up for me when you were here is that, my health is not what it used to be, my physical health.
Yep.
I was recently diagnosed with an illness. I've been very, very tired. I don't have the sexual vitality I used to have. And so I didn't feel that I performed as well as I used to when it came to vaginal intercourse. And
Hmm.
so when I learned that you came inside her twice, like that just like it fucked with me. So your thoughts on that analysis?
On the analysis that you have that you do the comparison thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've always done the comparison thing. That's always been a big thing for you.
Hmm.
I don't know. As long as I've known you, I've never not known you to do that. Very consistently and very aggressively.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I mean, that's definitely something that you have to work through and find more love of self and embrace yourself more. And I think that's one way to kind of get out of that.
Okay. And trigger number three, trigger number two and three were not as intense for me. Trigger number one was the most intense. So we might circle back to that, the whole thing about feeling blindsided.
Hmm.
So trigger number two are not as big of a deal, honestly. But trigger number three was okay. You prior to you coming here, you had made it abundantly clear that you wanted me to get STI tested, and I told you over and over and over again, Rakim, I don't have any STIs. I really fucking don't. If I did, I would tell you.
Yep.
And you kept insisting on even the day that we were about to meet, you were still like, Leslie, send me your test results, send me your test results, blah blah blah. So I sent you my test results, and I showed you the hard copy as well to confirm what I had been telling you, which is Rakim, I don't have any STIs. Then I come to find out that you did not require her to have any STI test, and that fucked with me as well. So I think that was also the proclivity mirror comparisonite, not proclivity, pattern mirror
Hmm.
comparisonites. Why'd you make me get tested and not her? Like what the fuck? So anyway, your thoughts on that one?
Yeah. I mean, again, that's also a big trigger that you have. Where if I do something with one woman and don't do it with you, or vice versa, then you get real triggered by that. So I agree, you had a major trigger around that.
Yeah. Well, can you understand how that would be triggering for me? Like if you're asking me to get STI tested but not other women, can you see how that would fuck with me?
No, I mean, look, all these triggers are personal to you, so it's
Mhm.
not it's not a requirement that I understand or anybody understands it.
Yeah.
All again, we've talked about this ad nauseum. All your stuff comes from the self-esteem conversations we've had over the years in terms of you just feeling better about yourself and the traumas you've had as a child. That's where they all stem from. So, yeah, I don't have any judgment around them, and I don't really need to understand them. Everybody's triggers are personal to them.
Okay. All right. So, I'm trying to go fast. What else do I have here? So I wanted to say something more about the kitchen table polyamory. I remember watching this interview that Shan Boody had with one of Nick Cannon's partners, and she asked her, are you friends with these women? And she said, well, we're cordial with each other as far as, planning birthday parties and, get-togethers for the kids, but we are not friends. And I think a lot of people were surprised by that. But I really appreciated that she was honest about the fact that, you know what, we're not friends. We're not fucking friends. We're not doing kitchen table polyamory. Any thoughts on that?
Well, Nick Cannon's women are not polyamorous.
Oh, okay.
So Nick Cannon's in a polygynous situation with his baby mothers,
Hmm.
which means like he dates whoever he wants and connects with whoever he wants, and they don't have the ability or power to do anything except be with him.
Hmm.
So that's not really a good analysis or comparison.
Oh, okay.
Sham Booty also is not actually polyamorous.
Hmm.
She's
She
um
says she is.
say what?
She says she is.
No, she's not been. I mean, she's never really shown any kind of like real true empowerment inside of being polyamorous. It's mostly like just her guy doing whatever her guy wants to do and her kind of just staying within the confines and boundaries of his comfortability.
Hmm.
So, you know, yeah, so those two women, those are not women who are in the poly community and they really can't speak on
Oh, okay.
Teo poly or anything
They're
really.
full of shit. Okay. So, okay. Well, that's pretty much it for my analysis of the three-way mirror. Do you think I left anything out?
No, I mean, I think it's good. When you have the triggers, you got to look and see, where the stuff is coming from.
Hmm.
And like really kind of do the self-analysis. I think that the three-way mirror is a great tool for that.
Hmm.
um and once you identify you know kind of the source, whether it's a potential pattern or proclivity, you can get into some of the processing work, and that's where you start to see some of the changes take place. But yeah, I think it's a really great tool.
Okay. And so, okay, let's can I do open-ended questions then? Because I don't really have anything else to say about this rearview mirror at this
Okay,
point.
that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that you said to me was that when I asked you, like, why didn't you just tell me? Like, why did I have to hear about it from her? I personally feel that it would have been easier for me to hear it from you. Like, I might have still felt sad. I might have even cried, but I do firmly believe that if I had heard it from you, it would have been easier for me to digest than hearing it from her. You disagree with me. You feel that my reaction would have been absolutely equal, whether you told me or she told me. And so one of the things that you said was that you did not want to tell me because you feel that I'm emotionally immature and emotionally unstable. And so from my perspective, I'm like, well, how is that any different from the men who are saying, the millions of men who are saying that I can't tell my wife the truth because she can't handle the truth?
Well, I mean, first of all, with me, I can tell my wife the truth. So, I talk to my wife Kenya about the truth of what I do and everything. My girlfriend Danique, she knows the truth of what I do, where I go. Like the, most of the women I deal with, they do have pretty solid emotional maturity, and they are actually poly or open or that kind of thing. So no, I mean, I tell most of my partners know where I'm going, who I'm seeing. Danique knows I came to see you. The woman in question knows I was going to see you. So most women I deal with, they have the emotional intelligence to hear that kind of stuff. So I am open. I do talk to my partners about what I do. I'm not really a big kitchen table poly person where we
Mhm.
talk about partnerships. It just
Mhm.
kind of ends up being that way. I prefer more the don't ask, don't tell
Okay.
situation. But again, like my wife and Danique, they went to Jamaica together and hung out. You see what I'm saying? Like they do their thing. Everybody hangs out, cooks together, does those things. So, I guess technically I do have a lot of kitchen table poly in my primary relationship. So,
Mhm.
in terms of it being easy for you to hear from me, like I don't really care if what's easier for you. That's not. I don't live my life trying to do things that are easier for you or anybody else. I live my life authentically. You've never been somebody who's really been good with information. You've never been somebody who's been particularly emotionally mature. You've always talked about my business to scores and scores of people just throughout the years. Again, you've had your reasons for doing that, and that's fine. But you're just not somebody who I would, talk to about, intimate information and intimate details of my life. So the bottom line is, for most of my relationships, all the women know basically what's going on with me, who I'm dating. They post pictures with me. They can know all the things. So I am very open. I am very transparent and talk to most. With you specifically, no, you've never shown your ability to really, be emotionally mature and kind of handle information and be a caretaker from my standpoint, from my judgment, a caretaker of myself or our relationship and that kind of thing. And so that's where that comes from. That's just not our connection. Our connection is not me entrusting you with any kind of intimate details in my life.
Cool. So the second open-ended question is, did it not occur to you that that this woman in question would tell me the information that you chose not to tell me?
Well, I didn't know if she would tell you. I mean, I knew you would eventually find out. Again, it wasn't a secret. You know what I'm saying? Like again, I came to Toronto partly to do an event up there. I was going to do a Tantra event. She was going to help me coordinate that. You knew that I was talking to her about helping to get some coordination and stuff like that. And so, yeah, I mean, if the event would have happened, you would have known I was staying with her. You probably would have known that her and I were sexual. I didn't know her and I were going to be sexual before I went up there. I didn't have any expectation around it.
Hmm.
So it wasn't something to talk about or disclose either way. But yeah, I mean, if the fact that you found out later or that you potentially could find out through her or other means, like I don't really care. I mean, that's not really on me. That's on you to handle the best way you possibly can. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, that's not a consideration. Again, like I said, I assumed you would hear and you would eventually find out, but I don't really care either way.
Okay, fair enough. So what, in your opinion, would have been an emotionally mature and emotionally stable way for me to handle hearing this information?
Yeah, most insureds understand I'm open. I've been open for 20 years. I'm going to fuck who I want to fuck and be with who I want to be with. And there's nothing you can do to put any kind of boundaries on that at all. Um, and instead of worrying about that or being triggered by it, number one, be thankful that I decided to come spend time with you and took the time to do that on my own dime and out of my own time and own schedule. And yeah, you just accept the fact of who you're with. So if you want to be with Rakim Sekou, that means you're with somebody who's open, who's poly, who's going to have and do exactly what they want to do when it comes to other women, that those things are not going to be disclosed to you because we don't have that kind of relationship or situation that you will find out in the back end, like you've always done throughout the entire time you've been with me, which is find out about relationships online, whether it's Crystal or anybody else. Like you've always found out online or through my communication or their communication or people posting, not because I'm telling you anything. So
Hmm.
just knowing that you continuing to do your research or see things online or hear things indirectly from the people that you talk to and gossip with, that's going to be how you find out things about me and my life.
Hmm.
So that's the mostly mature way to look at it. And if you want something that's more connected, you can make the internal changes within you, and you can also find other partners who you feel that more solid emotional connection with. But that'll never be, what you and I are.
Okay. All right. So I just assume that I'm going to hear shit no matter what, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and it's not coming from me. I mean, you're gonna hear it in the streets, which is exactly how you've always heard all the information about me and other partners. You've never heard that from me. I've never come and talked to you about, hey, I'm thinking about dating this person or whatever. You've always gotten your stuff off the internet, off my social media, off other women's social media, or through
Hmm.
them contacting you. That was a situation with you, Karina, or whoever. Like you just people come to you and they'll say something, but not from me.
Okay. All right. So just be totally cool with just hearing shit.
Yeah, if you want to be with me. Now, if you don't want to be with me, then you go create a different reality. If you want to be with me, you'll have to develop that internal fortitude and that emotional maturity to deal with it because it's nothing that's changing and nothing I'm adjusting.
Hmm. Okay. So, what else do I have here? Okay, so there was some information that some of the men shared to me, and I thought I'd bring it to your attention and get your opinion.
Okay.
And so one of the men says, okay, a man had sent me a reel, and there was like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments by men on this reel.
Okay.
And so the person in the reel, he was saying that men have this concern that if they give everything that they've got to a woman, let just say their wife, and they bent over backwards for her. They gave her everything. And then 10 years into the marriage, 15 years in, she goes or she wants to have sex with a dark masculine man who hasn't done shit for her. And so a lot of men, they were saying that they're afraid of this happening, and so they don't want to give their everything to a woman, or it has already happened to them, and now they're bitter about it. So just judging from the sheer volume of comments, this is an actual real concern that men have. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I understand it. I mean, again, we live in a monogamous culture. Men are very fearful of their women being attracted to other men and sleeping with other men, and they do everything they possibly can to stop that from happening. That's the history of Western culture. They've always tried to put boundaries in place to stop women from being with other men. I mean, that's been going on for thousands of years, literally. Um, so yeah, I understand it. And again, the bottom line is these are men who have internal work to do. When it comes to being with their woman, they need to be authentic and give to her as they authentically feel they want to give to her. And you can't worry about her having other attractions and all those types of things.
Mhm.
Um, Now, in many of these cases, these are men who are with women who like it's not like really necessarily a true connection. Like these women are oftentimes with them because of the money or some other reason. And
Mm.
these men are kind of dating, they're trying to date up, so to speak, from where they actually are.
Okay.
So, they had the choice to date a woman who really appreciates them and really is deeply in love with them and that kind of stuff. But they don't want that woman, right? Because they don't see her high enough on the dating scale or whatever. And
Mm.
so for those men, they kind of go into these relationships insecure because they know they're with a woman who has other options and probably is not with him because because she's super into him.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And that's a tough place to be. So my first piece of advice for men is like, hey, date somebody who is really into you. It
Okay.
is what it is. If you don't like the women who are approaching you or the women who are really into you, then do your self work so that you can increase the caliber of women who you're attracting. And when you date somebody who's really into you, you don't have to worry about all these other types of things. The second thing men need to do is you need to understand human nature and the nature of women and the nature of the feminine and understand that she's going to be attracted to other men. That's all there is to it. There's
Mm.
nothing you can do to stop that. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? There's just zero you can do to stop that. That doesn't mean you have to be open or poly eventually, but she's going to have other attractions. And so it's better to be mature. It's an emotional maturity thing. And it's a
Mm.
knowledge thing. Be emotionally mature and understand that this is just the reality of life. She probably saw two or three men this week that she was attracted to or into, just being out in the mall or you guys being out to dinner or whatever. So you have to be okay with that. That's just the rules of the game. You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? And so that's my suggestion to those men.
So you're saying that most of the men that have experienced this, in their marriage, is because they married a woman that was above their league?
Yeah. A lot of
Mm.
times that's what it is. It's either they married somebody who is above their league. Like
Mhm.
a lot of men will look at Instagram and social media and they see a lot of women they're attracted to, but these are
Mhm.
not women that are available to you. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But sometimes, these men like really try to get these certain women and the women say yes for whatever reason because they got hurt by a dark masculine and now they're just going to settle down or try to do the right thing or whatever. And it's not really true. It's not like a true love situation. She's not
Mhm.
really into you because she's into you. She's into you for some other reason. And you're setting yourself up for failure. So it's either
Mhm.
that or you get into the relationship. And I've seen this happen a lot. You get into the relationship with the marriage and one or both of the partners don't take care of themselves over time. So I've seen a lot of women in marriage, they age like very beautifully. So early on, when they have children, they're kind of like really not in their sexy kind of period. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
then like after like 10, 15, 20 years of marriage, like they come into the second phase of their beauty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the men haven't taken care of themselves. And
Mm,
so now there's a major discrepancy between how the husband looks and how the wife looks, and how the wife is attracting a lot of attention from men who are like of a higher caliber. She's not into her husband because he hasn't taken care of himself, and yeah, so she's interested in attracting somebody that she feels good about instead of
mm,
just accepting the fact that she's not into her husband. So that also happens as well.
mm. Okay, so what do you think about the conclusion that the men are making, which is I'm not gonna give my all to any woman because she's gonna screw me over in the end.
Yeah, I mean, you can do that. It just means that you're not going to get to enjoy a true, connected, intimate partnership with a woman. So if
Mm,
you want like a half of a connection or a half of a marriage or half of a partnership, then yeah, you can go ahead and do that. Again, like I said before, it's like it's best to just be authentic. If you want to give to her, then give to her. I'm
mhm,
saying? If you feel like you want to give to her, then go ahead and give to her. Don't put all these conditions on it. I'm
mhm,
saying? Don't put all these weird expectations around it. Do it because you want to do it, not because she's going to be loyal to you or because she does whatever. That's not really going to work. But yeah, if you want to do that, if you want to live that way as a man and just like, not give your wife a lot, what I'm saying, then feel free to do that. I think it's just a bad way to go about it, though.
mm. Okay. All right. And another man was saying that, like, since the beginning of time, men have like fought each other and even killed each other to make sure that like their sperm is the sperm that impregnates the woman and not the other man's sperm. So this idea, because you were talking about this on one of your live streams, that men need to be friends with each other, and when men are friends with each other, then we could do polyamory and yada yada yada. And he was saying, like, no, men will kill each other. Like we can't just ignore that. Like it's like almost like built into men to fight to have access to women. So your thoughts?
No, I mean, that's a very low consciousness way to look at it,
Hmm.
very animalistic way to look at it. So that's true. Historically, you have had groups of men who have fought each other and killed each other over women.
Hmm.
But it doesn't make any sense. Again, that's like very low vibration, very low emotional intelligence. No,
Hmm.
the key is we as men, we can just work together and be cool and understand that women are going to choose what they're going to choose. We're all going to get chosen, even by the women who don't choose us initially. Those women are going to come back around and choose us. So we're all going
Hmm.
to get chosen. Especially when we're doing our work, we're on top of our game. And I don't need to fight you. What I'm saying? I'm creating my own reality. So when I'm working on my belief system, I'm doing my healing, I'm working on my masculinity and that kind of thing, then I'm going to get women. There's just nothing, I don't have to fight anybody over anything. You see what I'm saying? Like, no man has any control or can dictate my life or how it's going to go, whether that's in terms of how much money I make or the kind of women I get. Like, so that thought pattern is just, it's really low consciousness, it's old paradigm, and it's really buried inside of traditional Western culture. It's not very intelligent at all.
Hmm. But okay, are you friends with all of the men that are married to or dating the women that you're involved with?
Am I friends with them?
Hmm.
I have had friends with some of them. I mean, and some of those men who've
But
been
I
with
also know
Kenya.
some that you were not friends with.
Yeah, I don't. It's not a requirement for me. I don't really care about being friends with anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not in it to be friends with somebody. Like, for example, for me in Kenya, I
Hmm.
want her as long as she's happy, go do your thing,
Hmm.
and I'll be happy. I'll go do my thing. It's not like I need to be friends with her guys.
Hmm.
Again, I have been friends with some of her guys, and that's been cool. But I don't really care. Like, it's not a thing for me. I don't. Again, like I told you before, I'm not a kitchen table poly person. I end up being that and doing that a lot,
Hmm.
but that's not who I am. I don't really care. If me and the guy are cool and like we actually have our own connection, not just because you're dating Kenya or whatever, then or one of my other partners, then cool. But I don't really have a requirement or need or desire to be friends with any of these guys or anybody, period.
Hmm. So okay, so friendship isn't a requirement to do polyamory.
Not for me.
Okay.
I mean, for some people, they might claim that it is. It shouldn't be. Like,
Hmm.
all I need to worry about is my connections. Like, who am I dating? Who am I with? How are we doing? Outside of that, I don't care about anybody else. I don't care what my wife is doing with anybody else or my partner's doing with anybody else. Like, that's their business. They
Hmm.
can include me to the degree they want to include me. But as long as she's showing up for me and we're doing our thing and all that, I don't care about the other stuff at all.
Hmm. Okay. What else do I have here? Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about if I want you to be more transparent with me. I know you kind of answered it earlier, but like, can you say more about what I would need to do for you to be transparent with me?
Well, when you say transparent, I think what you're really actually saying is you would want me to confide in you more about who I am and what I do.
Or at least just give me a heads up so that when I hear something from a third party, it's not a shock to my nervous system.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's more confiding. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel we have that kind of that level of closeness. And like I said, you've always been somebody who's just kind of blabbered all of my business and all of our business to like I said, scores and scores of people, men and women.
Mhm. But
And
that doesn't
so
apply to this situation. In this situation, I knew nothing at all about you and this woman. I
I'm talking
literally
about
knew
you in
nothing.
general. I'm talking about you in general. I'm talking
Hmm.
about who you are as a person and
Hmm.
who you've shown up to be in our relationship is somebody who there's no confidentiality at all, in my opinion. Kind of no
Okay.
respect for any of that. So you're just not somebody I view in that way. It doesn't mean
Okay.
I'm not going to be with you. You know, I still came to see you, but no,
Mhm.
you're not the kind of partner that I'm confiding in. Like, no, you'll have to do what you've always done throughout the years, which is scour the internet and whatever, and find out who I'm with, and
But
that
I
kind of
didn't
thing.
look this. I didn't look for this information. She came to me. I didn't look for it.
Absolutely, I understand, and that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? People are going to come to you. They've come to you in the past. You know,
They have. I have more
uh,
examples of people
yeah,
that literally came to me.
right. And that's going to be, when you're dating me and you're making known you're dating me,
Hmm.
then people are going to come to you. So
Hmm.
that comes with it. Again, I'm a public figure. I'm somebody who's been on television. I've been on scores of podcasts. I've been in magazines. I've been in everything. So I'm a
Hmm.
public figure, to whatever degree you want to call it. I'm a celebrity. So when
Hmm.
people find out who celebrities are with or dating, they're going to be drawn to those people and ask them questions and try to get to know them and all that kind of stuff. So again, if you're going to choose to be, and maybe that's one of the reasons why you're trying to be with me so bad and so, focused on being with me and only me. But yeah, people are going to be drawn to you. They're going to want to know, well, what's up with you and Rakim, or what's up with Rakim, or is it, all these things. So yeah, you're going to get people who come to you. That happens to every single woman I've been with, who
Hmm.
who publicly, puts us out there in terms of me dating her.
Yeah.
A lot of women and men end up friending them, and then a lot of them inbox them and try to establish friendships and want to talk to them and ask them questions. That's happened with almost every single woman. So
Hmm.
again, you want a public relationship with me, you're going to get people who want to come to you and tell you this and ask you that. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
And you have to have the emotional maturity to handle that. You got to realize, look, I put myself out there as wanting Rakim and being with Rakim and talking about it nonstop all the time. Yeah, it should be realistic that people are going to come to me with some stuff
Yeah.
I want to hear and stuff I don't want to hear.
Okay, so
That's par for the
let's talk
course.
strategy. Let's talk strategy here because I want a plan of a battle plan, for lack of a better term. So if I want you to let's just use the word confide, that's your word.
Okay.
My word is just give me a heads up. If I want that, then one of the things is I have to accept the fact that people are going to call me and DM me and they're going to tell me stuff that I had no previous knowledge of, and I should be totally okay with that. So that's number one. What else?
Yeah, like they've always done, right? So people have always called you and DM'd you and that kind of stuff, correct? Ever since you
Yeah.
made it public that you are with me and want to be with me and had issues with me, people have always contacted you, right?
I have numerous examples of that. Yes.
Exactly. So that's just so that's par for the
It's
course.
going to happen. So
For the
totally be
rest of your life,
totally
that's
cool with
going to
that.
happen. Yeah, for the rest of your life is going to happen. So, like
It's
for
going
example,
to happen.
with this latest situation, is just another
Mhm.
example of what's
Mhm.
always happened.
Mhm.
So it's nothing
Be
different,
cool. Be
nothing
cool.
new,
Do not react.
which is why I didn't give a fuck about it.
Hmm.
What's for you to act like this is some kind of new thing or travesty or whatever. That's the issue. No,
Hmm.
you've always experienced this
Hmm.
from day one of you putting yourself out there in terms of wanting to be connected with me and all these different types of things. So this is not new. So
Hmm.
you have to accept your role in yours and my connection, which
Yeah.
is you're going to get these calls, period,
Yes, I
point
am.
blank.
Okay. So what else?
In terms of what?
In terms of you confiding or giving me a heads up.
I can't speak to like I said, you and I don't have that kind of relationship, so I can't even fathom that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
It's
that's not even.
unfathomable.
No, I've got 13, 14, 15 years of you literally talking to hundreds of people about me and
Mhm.
about us and private things and stuff like that. I just can't even conceive ever confiding in you for anything.
Okay. So I would have to just not talk to anybody about you.
You have to be mature. I mean,
Hmm.
when you're in a relationship with somebody, there's just certain things you don't talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
There's certain things you don't bring to the public. Again, I'm
Hmm.
a public figure, so people are looking for information about me and about Kenya
Hmm.
and who we're dating and who we're not and what's going on. So it's just a level of emotional intelligence and intelligence. Like, okay, well, there's certain things I have to eat it. If I'm
Hmm.
gonna date Rakim, I got to take a number of losses, personal losses. Personal losses means I'm gonna have to be quiet about what's going on with certain things. Some things I can bring up, I can bring to the butterflies and stuff like that. Other things
Hmm.
I just can't.
Yeah.
And that's how I operate in my relationships. Like I'm not gonna blurt my partner's business all over the internet or
Hmm.
call a bunch of people or post a bunch of shit online because I have a respect for them and for us and what
Hmm.
we're building and privacy and all those types of things.
Yeah.
So that's it's just a like a common sense around relationships that
Hmm.
I feel is needed. But again, I'm not putting that on you.
Hmm.
I don't think that's something you need to necessarily develop. I don't expect that. Like again, I came to see you, even though you've always been like this, and I'll
Hmm.
continue to come see you, whether you change anything or not. I don't have any expectation about you changing.
Yeah.
But again, you're
Yeah,
going
I
to
know
have to.
you didn't have any expectation, but I want to change. That's what I'm trying to
That's
tell you.
fine. I mean,
And
you can do
so,
whatever you want.
yeah,
Again, I don't have any expectation around it, and I
yeah,
don't want to be involved in your changing or your strategy around it. Like I don't.
yeah.
You've been saying the same shit for years. The same thing has happened over and over again. You've been triggered with major blasts and then ups and downs and ups like for decades. You see what I'm saying? Like I don't want to be involved in your quote unquote. I want to change, and you've befriended people, then cut them off, and befriended people
Mhm.
and cut them off. Like just continuously. That's just your pattern. So for
Mhm.
me personally, I don't want to be a part of it. I don't give a
Mhm.
fuck about it. Do whatever you feel you want to do for your own personal growth, but I
Mhm.
don't want to be a part of it. And again, none of that's required for me to come see you
Yeah,
and be connected to you.
yeah. So here's what I have to say about that. I actually prefer to resolve conflict with you directly. And a lot of times when I've tried to resolve conflict with you directly, whether through up level or just talking, a lot of times you have, you know, pushed me to go and get support from other people, even though that wasn't my first inclination. My first inclination was to resolve whatever it was with you
Mm-hmm.
rather than having to go to third parties and vent to them and get their input. Because I actually don't even like doing that. My preference, my real preference would be to resolve these conflicts with you.
Understood. Yeah, and that's not always going to be available to you, especially when you're acting crazy and erratic. Again, sometimes I'm going to be able to do that. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Hold space for you or whatever. Um, but not most of the time. Yeah,
Mhm.
most of the time you're going to have to either eat it or get coaching from somebody, or you vent it out to the butterflies, or vent it out to whoever you want to vent it to, or other friends. Like again, I don't have any requirement for you to be one way or the other.
But here's the
So,
thing, when I vent it out to third parties, then you turn around and say that I can't keep my mouth shut.
but that's true. You can't keep your mouth shut, and
So
you never
like,
have been
but
in
but
your
but you're
entire
the
life.
one who are telling me go vent to somebody else. Don't bring it to me.
Well, you've always done that, whether I told you that or not. Most of the time, it's not me telling you to go vent to somebody else. You're just gossiping to the same group of people every day, all day. So don't try to paint a scenario where it's me telling you to go gossip to, and I'm not going to name the names of all these men and people you've gossiped over the years.
But
But
there's
no,
been
that's
many,
not me telling you to
many,
go talk to them.
many, many times where you have declined to let me resolve it with you.
Yeah, the bottom line is you need to resolve your issues.
Hmm.
So you already know that you have a lot of, you know, psychological stuff going on, some childhood trauma stuff going on. You got to resolve that. That's not my responsibility.
I'm not saying it is. What I
Yeah,
am saying is that you have pushed me on many, many, many occasions to go and vent to third parties.
that's fine. Again, if I've done that, then fine. I accept that. The bottom line is you have these internal issues that you have to deal with, and you need to deal with it. It's your responsibility, not mine.
Hmm.
And if you want a partner to support you in that, then go get a partner to support you in that. It won't be me.
Okay. So what I'll do going forward is I'll eat it. I will
Or
process
go get help. Go get support.
no, I'm not going to get support from third parties because I don't trust third parties that are connected to you. I really don't.
Or get some who's not connected to me. Again, there's billions
I
of
may.
people.
Mhm.
Like I
It's
said,
hard to
there's
do that because
billions of
very few people understand polyamory. So
yeah,
it's
but
hard to get.
that's a cop out. There's plenty of
It's not,
polyamory coaches. It's 2026. There's
yeah.
plenty of polyam coaches out there. Plenty, hundreds and thousands of polyamorous coaches
Okay,
out
if I want to pay one of them, then fine, I will. But aside from that, I'll just eat it and I'll process it on my own because I'm not when I go to third parties that especially ones that it ends up being a shit show. So I will not be doing that going forward.
there. Yeah, and again, I'm not telling you to do that. This is you saying you want to do that. To me, you've gotten help before in the past by certain people, including Kenya, and it's been supportive. And she hasn't blasted the information all over the internet. Um, you have options, but I'm not telling you to go do it. This is you pushing yourself to do it, and that's, you can do whatever you want.
Hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do because I feel that going to third parties, including the monarch butterflies, including third parties that are connected to you in any way, shape, or form, has made things worse for us. So
It
I'm
hasn't
not
made things
going
worse
to.
for us.
I think that it
Hasn't
has.
changed anything in terms of whether I'm going to see you or not, or that kind of stuff.
No, it hasn't
It,
changed anything in terms of coming to see me, but in terms of you wanting to relay certain things to me so
I've
that I
never
know how
wanted
to
to
go.
relay things to you. I've never wanted to relay things to you. You're trying to project things that are just not true. You've never been a partner that I've confided in for anything
Hmm.
ever.
Okay.
You showed me very early on who you were, and I just said, okay, this is not somebody who I can trust with certain information and certain things.
Yeah, I hear that. And so what I'm saying is that going forward, I'm going to be extremely quiet.
That's up to you, but you still will not be that partner that I confide in.
Okay.
So if
So
you're
you're
doing that,
saying
you're doing it for
it's
you.
impossible. You're saying it's
I'm
impossible.
saying I'm choosing not to do that. I'm saying this is not a priority for me. I could care less about whether you confide in someone else or you vent or whatever. I've accepted that about you, that you are the person who does what you've always done.
So
So
you're saying it's impossible for me to shift this reality.
no, you can shift it. Go ahead and do it for you. I'm saying I have no interest in changing our dynamic.
Okay. But you're not
My
saying it's impossible then.
nothing's impossible.
Okay. That was my question. Is it possible or is it impossible? So I appreciate that you're saying that it's not impossible.
Okay,
Because I do want a different reality with you. I don't want the same old, same old.
that's fine.
I do want to, because this is part of the dark feminine. The dark feminine is very discreet.
Right, but you're not discreet at all. You've never been discreet
Yeah,
about
and so
anything,
as and I'm saying
which is why I've
I
always told you
want
I've never looked at you as a dark feminine.
and that's why I'm saying I want to work on that,
Okay.
right? You said that if you didn't consider me to be dark feminine, you said one of the things that would shift you in seeing me as a dark feminine was that if you came to see me, which you did, and you said you weren't going to do that, but you did it
Mm-hmm.
on your dime, which you at one point in time you said you were never going to do, but you did it.
Yep. That's true.
So, I'm making
No, I've never said I would never not come see you. I've never said that. That's
on
your
your dime,
narrative.
on your
You're
dime.
I've never said I would not come see you on my dime. I said I'm not
Okay.
going to come see you on my dime on your time or when you want me to come see you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you got into the whole narrative about, well, I got to pay Rakim because I want to see
Yeah.
Rakim now.
And
That's your
and
thing. I've
and
never not been willing to come see you ever.
what you said in one of our podcasts of one of the ways that you would know that I'm more in my dark feminine is if you come to see me on your
Sure,
dime.
sure. But I've always done that. I've always been willing to
That's
come
this
see
is
you.
the first time you've done it on your dime. It's the first time in the 15 years I've known you.
That's not true.
It's true. It's true. It's 100% true.
No, you've only paid for me one time to come there.
No, that's not true. I've paid multiple times for you to come here. Multiple times over the
Okay.
years.
Well, however you want to judge yourself as dark feminine, that's fine. I don't really care. Like I said, I have my own perceptions of you.
Hmm.
And those perceptions are not in the way of me connecting with you. Again, these are your personal journeys. A dark feminine doesn't even really talk about her personal journey like that in terms of what she's going through and all that kind of stuff. She just makes the change.
Hmm.
And she looks at the results of what she manifests as a way to understand if she's made that change or not.
Got it. That's what I will do. I will make the changes. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
That's all I got. That's all you got?
That's all I have.
All right. Good talk.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
Peace.